Hi everyone, my name is Joseph, and today I wanted to have a discussion about Destiny season. Excuse me, it's not a season, it's an episode. Destiny 2 episode Echoes. So this is the first episode that's being presented to the players after the end of the final shape. And it's a quick reminder, or to give some context, the final shape is accumulation of 10 years of storytelling for Destiny, essentially. So episode Echoes was supposed to be this new segue into a new storytelling phase for Destiny. Destiny is not over. We're just entering a new phase where the stories will continue. And with stories continuing, this of course means that new villains will be appearing as well. So the episodes took a new format, at least for this episode itself. Bungie has already announced that for the next two episodes, it's going to operate a bit differently. But this time, the way that it operated is that for the first 3 weeks, players had access to the story. And then after that, they had to have a mandated break. I believe the break was 3 weeks. Then after those 3 weeks, we then had the next set of story elements for another 3 weeks, and then another break. And then after another set of 3 weeks, we then got the last element of the of episode Echoes. So essentially, episode Echoes was split into three acts: Act One, Act Two, and Act Three. Act One, of course, introduces the new villain, who is revealed to be the Conductor, who is able to utilize the Echo of Command to take control of the Vex. And this is a little bit frightening just because the Vex are typically don't have a personality. Excuse me, I said that kind of weird. They don't have a personality, nor do they have individuality. They don't care if one dies because the Vex is essentially kind of like a hive mind. They're operating with systems in mind, systems in place. When the Conductor starts taking control of these Vex, the Player Guardian, Saint 14 are able to notice that all of a sudden they're giving each other covering fire. They're working as a team. Episode Echoes Act 2 then reveals that the Conductor is Maya Sundaresh. Excuse me if I mispronounced that. We've seen this character before in the past. She was the leader of the oh no, lapse of judgment. Give me a second, everyone. Uh, was it Black Orbit? Dead Orbit, excuse me. I believe Maya Sandaresh was the, well, not her specifically, but I forgot her EXO's name. But her EXO is based on Maya Sandaresh, and she was the leader of Dead Orbit, one of the three factions that used to be part of Destiny up into their supposed, not a coup, but nor an uprising, but the little, what's the word? The little tumultuous expedition that they had in terms of bringing in the Vex and the Long Night and everything like that. That was part of a previous season, I believe a year and a half ago by this point, around after Witch Queen. Yes, after Witch Queen released. Or maybe it was before Witch Queen released. Forgive me about that. But anyways, again, she was the leader of Dead Orbit, but this is supposed to be the original Maya Sanderish, the individual who went on the expedition when the darkness first came. They were going to go outside of the galaxy, but then unfortunately, when the battle between the Witness and the Traveler commenced, what seemed to have been lost, as it turns out, was not completely lost. We've discovered that I can't pronounce it, but the city from Neptune is a leftover from that. And we also discovered again that Maya Sanderish is a leftover as well. And so she's been utilizing the Echo of Command to create her own perfect reality. She wants to utilize the Vex network to create the essentially kind of like her own version of the final shape. But rather than having it occur naturally, through supernatural, not supernatural, but through cosmologic forces. She's doing it through, technology instead, again, through the Vex network. And she wants to create this perfect simulation that's supposed to represent the perfect world that one wants to live in. And part of this perfect reality, she's trying to discover. Oh, we get revealed during episode 3, so part of jumping the gun a little bit, that so in episode 2 it's revealed who she is, and then episode 3 gets revealed her objective. But also on top of that, she might be a little bit deranged. She's going beyond than who she used to be, because she's going through multiple realities through the Vex network, trying to find her, I believe they were married, her wife, if not they were significant others, Chiona. If I'm mispronouncing that, forgive me, but unfortunately for poor Chiona, there's been multiple versions of her, but she's been nothing but essentially tortured by Maya, because Sandaris essentially doesn't believe that the Chiona that she finds, any of them, is her Chiona. She wants to find the Chiona that's from her reality. And so because of this, she's been doing horrible experiments and other killing essentially Chiona. And when the group find out, the group being Akora, Saint 14, your guardian, they're of course shocked about this discovery. And Maya doesn't seem to care nor move. She's too stubborn. She truly believes that the real Chiona would understand what Maya Sanderich is trying to do. And so she wouldn't mind if a little bit spilling of blood will occur. She would actually maybe even encourage it. And since none of these Chionas are doing that, that's why Maya's getting a little bit crazy. A lot of the community did say that the story ended a little bit anticlimactically. So the episode ends with a showdown between Maya, Saint, Akora, and one's guardian, and Maya is actually able to make the guardian to start controlling them. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. And episode 3 also gets revealed that she's also able to start controlling Kaba as well, which I was caught off guard about. I thought the Echo of Command will only allow her to command Vex because she's a Exo herself, and I thought there was a relationship between that. But as it turns out, no. She could also take command of Kaba, which implies that, well, there's the Hive, Fallen, are fair game, as are the Awoken, and of course Guardians, Light Bearers. And as we see as the player, she's able to utilize her Echo Command to stop the group from attacking and actually have them lower their weapons, which I was quite shocked. I did say out loud, "No, Guardian, don't do that." But thankfully, Saint 14 is able to bust a Cade. What I mean by that, if one has played the final shape, Cade states he makes his own fate. And Saint 14 states the same comments as well, that he makes his own fate. And he's able to break out of the control that Maya has them in. And he's able to throw his shield at her. And then Akora, because of that, Akora and the Guardians are able to break free. And Akora throws a pretty weak Nova Bomb. I'm not going to lie. I think it was a Nova Bomb for sure. It was some kind of void attack that only butts against Maya's chest, essentially, and knocks her into the Vex milk. And she disappears. She gets away with the voice of command. The Echo Command, excuse me, the voice of command. The Echo Command, unfortunately. And that's how, for the majority, how the episode ends. And I'm not going to lie, the way that Maya Sanderich fell into the Vex milk as well, it didn't seem like it was too forceful, that Void Blast, whatever it was. I'm surprised no one tried to go in and go after her, or at the very least try to bring her back. Maybe I'm getting my games confused. I don't think there's any abilities with the hook, right? I've been playing Dragon Age Inquisition and also Space Marine 2, and there's a class in Space Marine where you're able to use a chain to push someone towards you, and in Inquisition the same thing as well. But I just realized I don't think Destiny has anything like that. The Hunter has a chain-like weapon, but it's not to draw people towards them. So anyway, so maybe that's why Maya Sanderich was able to escape. A really creepy element, I believe, that was included was when Maya started controlling the group. She had them to start going forward to drink from the Vex milk. And I believe by doing that, that allows her to get more control of the people. That for me was quite creepy, a little bit Lovecraftian, just because everyone is aware that Vex milk is essentially the consciousness of the Vex. That's why when you shoot at the Vex, shooting their heads does not give you critical shots, but rather shooting where the Vex milk is contained. That's what gives one critical shots, critical hits. And besides that, there was also a cool little moment as well before one fights the... So right now we're talking about the story. I'll talk about the negatives and positives. So in order to progress a story, one needed to play the exotic mission multiple times. This exotic mission was called Coda, and it had multiple names after that. Like, for example, since I do have it right here. Give me a second, everyone. Oh, I thought I did have it right here. Oh, excuse me. Well, I already stated it, so let me just quickly go to it. Sorry, everyone. So, for example, the exotic mission is called... Forgive me, everyone. Of course, I do have my video here, but I didn't save. It doesn't matter. I believe the exotic mission is called Coda. Yeah, so it is, or maybe it's, so I believe it's called Encore, and then one of the weeks it was called Coda, and then another week it's called something else. So yeah, it's called Encore, forgive me, and I guess that makes sense why it's called Encore, since we play it multiple times. Excuse me, everyone, that was a hiccup. I knew, but continue forward. Pardon me, and thank you for your patience, everyone. I really do appreciate it. So again, so the exotic mission is called Encore, and one needed to play the 3 different variations of it to continue the story. And during this mission, one of the parts before the boss, there's a room. I believe the first one plays it, the exo body is only present by itself, kind of like being experimented on. The second time one plays it, Vex bodies are now next to it, also being experimented on. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this might be new added detail, or again, maybe I'm incorrect about this. But the third time, I noticed that the EXO had tubes going into the eyes, and it was actually also Lovecraftian for me. I thought, oh wow, what's going on here? It looks like there was a little tube as well that was going to be inserted into the stomach area, the torso area. To be frank, if the game was rated M, it wouldn't surprise me if there was also going to be tubes going down the mouth as well, more tubes going to the sides, and just very looking not grotesque, but just very like sci-fi body horror, not too gory, but just unnerving. One of these this is an instance for sure I am disappointed, where as always Destiny 2 is not rated M. I think sometimes with its art it could be so much more engaging if it was rated M. But anyways, I'm going on a tangent. So I did like that kind of storytelling. Oh, and also correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure if this is true for the episode 2 Vex and EXO. But when I was looking at the EXO body, I was shocked to discover that the Vex next to the EXO blinked at me. I was like, ooh. I actually made an audible sound effect when that occurred. And I jumped a little bit. I was like, oh, that's very interesting. So I like that. I like those kind of details, and I love it when Bungie embraces that kind of cosmic horror, Lovecraftian aspect of the sci-fi. With that being said, though, again, a lot of fans did think the storytelling was anticlimactic. I personally, surprisingly, did really much enjoy it. I do agree that it sucks that Maya Sanderis escaped, but I'm also kind of happy because that means that she is going to return. And now that we've established her as a villain, when she returns, hopefully the storytelling will be more engaging and more compelling as well. It's hard to write new characters, especially write them in such a way where one could engage with them after such a huge baddie such as the Witness, after one had such a cosmological villain such as the Witness, who was literally going against reality. That was its objective, right? To turn reality into its final shape, what it believes is the final shape of the universe, the entire, not just one galaxy, but the universe. So yeah, so Bungie definitely had a huge uphill battle to go through, and I ended up being mostly neutral with Maya. I'm looking forward to what else they do with her. But in terms of everything else, in terms of Saint 14 and Ikora, one aspect I really did enjoy was when after the missions and everything like that is completed, as always, part of Destiny's seasonal storytelling or episodic storytelling is after one does the missions to listen to the radio. And that's the last thing that one does, and they're done with the storytelling for the episode. So the last radio message was of Ikora, and I actually loved how Ikora brought back Cade, and she mentions how she misses Cade, and being able to see Cade again, while it was great, she wanted more out of that, seeing him in the Pale Heart. And she brought up Cade because of what Maya is trying to do. She essentially can't get over the fact that Chiona is gone, or her Chiona is gone. It's not enough for her to find other versions of Chiona. It needs to be specifically Maya Sanderish's Chiona. And so Ikora just points out that that's one of the burdens about life, is that those who continue living, well, they have to continue living without those who have gone away, right? Well, those who are gone away, they're gone from life, unfortunately. And that's part of the burdens that those who survive, those who continue to live, had to live with. And I actually really liked it. And I'm probably projecting because I did think of my dog. My dog did pass away. Fairly it hasn't even been a year yet, and I really did love my dog. And I'm not gonna lie, when I think about Destiny, I do project a little bit with ghosts and guardians. For me, it's very much like people and their dogs. But when she was explaining that, it really did touch an emotional heartstring for me, just because I was able to empathize and relate so much with what was being stated. Because I can only imagine, and I've been thinking about this actually, because I miss my dog so much, and after I played the final shape, I thought to myself, what would happen, how would I feel if I were able to see my dog again and go on like one last big hike with her at a place we've never been to before. So have that be the equivalent of the final shape, right? Have that hike be the equivalent of the traveler traversing through the inside of the traveler. But once I'm done with that hike, and my dog goes away again, right? Because she's gone, she's dead. So after I'm done with that hike, she returns to, doggy heaven, however one wants to think about it. How would I feel after that? Honestly, I think I would be more devastated the second time. I would be grateful to have that opportunity to generate new memories and a new hike with her. But I would also just miss her, because I was getting used to living life without her. And for her to come back again, just kind of like reopen those wounds, lovely wounds that I'm happy to have. But then when she's gone, those wounds will remain, right? So I was able to totally emphasize with what Carl was talking about. And yeah, oh, and well, I definitely see people's perspective. I do have to think, and I think I am being biased because I am a Destiny fan. I'm still looking forward to the next episode. I'm looking forward to when Maya Sanderich comes back. I'm not sure if I'll be continuing with Destiny after this year. I did buy the Final Shape annual pass, and everyone is keeping up with Bungie and Destiny. They're aware of all the issues that's going on right now, and how we're moving away from expansions. They're not even going to be called expansions anymore. I don't believe they're going to be called something else to emphasize that they're not going to be as big as the what we were getting before. I believe they're not going to be called DLC anymore. They are going to be just called simple expansions or something like that. The terminology is changing, so we'll see. But again, I did enjoy this episode. I was a little bit irritated by the fact I had to play that same exotic mission 3 times. But thankfully, in case one is unaware, you could utilize the old Destiny app to use the Fireteam search finder. Definitely use the old app. I hardly encourage it. I'm not a big fan of the new Fireteam finder. The old Legacy app, I believe, was much more effective and efficient in finding a fire team. The first time I played the exotic mission, I was using the fire team finder on the game itself. I was just not having any luck at all. And there wasn't even an option for the exotic mission 2, which just blows my mind. During the Act 2, I did check and that there was no option for those exotic missions still, which again blew my mind. I didn't check for Act 3 because ever since I found out that the Legacy app 2 is up and running, I was just sticking with the Legacy app. So since Act 1, I was just using the app to look for my fire team. And thankfully, people still use the app, which is great. I really did think the app was gone, a bit of a tangent. Which I guess is part of the final shape in the episode as well, because that's when the fire team finder was finally, well, I guess it was introduced towards the end of the final shape, never mind, or towards the lead up to the final shape. But anyways, when I discovered that the app was still up and around and still functioning, I was so happy. I have so many good memories of the app being able to do so many exotic missions, campaign missions, and Iron Banner when I was chasing the Iron Lord title. Just a lot of good memories with that app, so I'm happy to see that it's still up and running. Hopefully it continues running for quite a while, and so at the very least the Fireteam Finder is tempered and refined. So anywho, so there were some of the negatives I did have is again having to play the exotic mission 3 times. Thankfully though, I did find the exotic mission okay. It wasn't like the best. I have to agree with the community. I do believe the best exotic mission that I played so far. I just had it at the top of my mind, but now I forgot. But oh no, not excuse me everyone, not Osiris, I'm sorry, Rasputin, I don't know, excuse me everyone, it's been a long day for me, but Rasputin's his Surf Shield, I believe the exact mission was called Surf Shield or something like that. That was a really great exotic mission just because of the aesthetics, the level design, and being able to go back to, if everyone's never played the raid, that was a great chance for those who haven't played it to see the orbital station. I have played Deep Stone Crypt, not as often as the D1 raids, probably about 5 or 6 times. So I have gone through that little portion and then going through the that one beautiful part with the music. I forget what the music is called, but one is was what I'm referring to. They played it. It was cool to see that for other players, just in a typical exotic mission. Still something special because an exotic mission is supposed to be a little bit more challenging, have a bit more platforming, not as strenuous as a dungeon or a raid, but not as easy as a campaign mission or a strike as well, right? So it was a nice middle ground, and that was awesome. This new exotic mission, after playing it 3 times, I think they did a good job of hiding secrets and stuff like that, but it was just, in terms of the design and the compared to the Sword of Shield mission, it just wasn't as captivating. Other elements, I did like though how when one was playing it for the first time, that I think it was Maya who was speaking to you through silent dialogue, just under the mission title, under the radar. Font was coming out, and it was supposed to be Maya speaking to you. Though I do agree with the community when she said, "I survived the collapse, I will survive you." I did think to myself, Maya, my guardian defeated the individual who started the collapse. My guardian defeated the individual who was trying to do a second collapse, and not just a second collapse, but complete the goal of obtaining the final shape. Calm down, Maya Sanderesh. You may have survived the collapse, but you haven't survived my guardian. If you survive my guardian, then maybe you can start boasting about surviving the collapse as well. So I'm glad to see that the community had some memes about that. So that was pretty funny. Excuse me, everyone. I'm rubbing the side of my nose. And yeah, I would argue that the positives, it wasn't as strong as the season leading up to the final shape, nor that one season with Rasputin. That was a great one. The one where Savathun's sister, Zero Wrath, is trying to teleport herself over to our solar system. That was a really great season. The lead up to, I think that was the lead up to Lightfall. That was a good one. And then the season before the final shape, they were a bit lackluster compared to that one other season, but they were still doing a good job of setting up. I think it was Season of the Deep and then Season of the Wish. Season of the Wish, yeah. That did a decent job of making one excited to see where Crow and how he was going to end up connecting everyone, the Guardian to the Pale Heart, to the Traveler. So actually, not that I think about it, I would say I think the episode was actually on par to the previous season, to be honest with everyone. Because I did find the Conductor to be an intriguing villain once she was established. I did think it was cool that she was a recurring character. A lot of people thought it was obvious, but it's like, it's cool. Like look at Fortnite, for example. Every new season, they're always creating a new character, and to my understanding, recently the Epic hasn't been really doing anything with these villains. They just get killed as soon as the new season starts, or they just disappear. So I kind of appreciate how Bungie's at the very least trying to have a connective tissue between the lore and the gameplay. So I appreciate that, though. I do understand the perspective why one would be disappointed by the obvious reveal, and yeah. So all in all, would I recommend Episode 1 Echoes? To be frank, this is a special case because Episode 1 is attached with the final shape. If you buy the final shape, you have access to Episode 1. And to be frank with everyone, I would recommend it just for the fact that this is not a simple standalone isolated story. Again, it comes combined with the final shape. So when one buys the final shape, definitely I do think the final shape is worth it. And if one is enjoying these gameplay of Destiny, is enjoying the narrative aspects of Destiny, then I do believe Episode 1 does a fairly decent job of continuing that storytelling. It may not be as grand and to the same level as the Witnesses story, the Dark and Light saga, but again, we're starting a brand new chapter. We're going to have to give it some time to allow the storytelling to ramp up its narration and get to that new climax, right? Hopefully that makes sense when I'm explaining. I would recommend it because again, it comes with the final shape, and if one is enjoying the gameplay, the storytelling, then one has more of that. If on the other hand, you're not a fan of Destiny and you didn't like the final shape, then obviously I would not recommend it. But in this instance, again, I would recommend it. If you've never played Destiny, I would recommend trying out the gameplay first. And if you're enjoying the gameplay, then go ahead and try out the final shape. And again, Episode 1 comes with that. So yeah, thank you so much for listening, everybody. I do appreciate it. Pardon me for having the computer on and my little stand up there as well. I always do my best to have some kind of consistency with my videos. So excuse me about that. As always, I do appreciate you guys watching. Have a great day, and I'm looking forward to what's in store for Destiny. And although it may not be as strong as it used to be, I don't think Destiny will just fade away into obscurity. As long as Destiny maintains its storytelling, maintains its characterization, and even maintains its musical discography. I know that Michael Salvatore is gone and other individuals as well, but they at least have the concepts, the skeleton from the soundtrack that they've already created. I have faith that, maybe not faith, but I have hope that Bungie will still maintain Destiny. I really do enjoy Destiny. I am a Destiny fan. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I do appreciate it. Have a great day.